Sometimes when you go to buy yarn, it can be extremely confusing to like know what you're getting and stuff. Like if a project says like size 4, size 6, acrylic, cotton, whatever. So I'm going to show how to figure out all that and find your yarn and read the like label. So sometimes you can just tell the size of it by looking at it, but so right here it'll tell you the color, and then here it says 4. This is a size 4 yarn, also known as worsted. This is a medium size yarn. This is what a lot of like clothing projects and stuff are made with, and it's like the most common yarn that I've found anyways. And then right here there's like a little hook and then needles, and this is the recommended crochet hook size for the yarn, and then this is the recommended size for knitting needles. And obviously if you have a pattern that calls for this yarn and a different size hook, use that size hook. But if you're just like practicing or like making your own patterns and you don't know like what to use, you should use the recommended hook size and try that out. And then it'll tell you what it's made with here. This one's 100% acrylic, and it even has like wash instructions here, but that can be different based on like what kind of items you're making. Sometimes on balls you'll see like this, it'll say pattern on the back and have a picture, and then on the inside of the wrapper there will be like a free pattern that you can use. And then like right here it tells you that that pattern will be 2 balls, so if you want to make that pattern, get 2 balls of this yarn. And then here's how much the yarn is. This is a 7-ounce ball of yarn. Usually when you have patterns it'll tell you how much yarn you need, and then you can just check and make sure that you're getting the right amount. When washing crochet pieces, sometimes on your yarn it'll like tell you how you can wash the yarn. Like this says machine wash and dry, but just because it says that doesn't mean that every piece that you make can be machine washed and dried in the dryer. It all depends on like what kind of pieces you make. Sometimes your patterns will tell you how to wash items, but they usually don't. When it comes to washing pretty much any crochet piece, I don't really recommend washing most things in the washer. A lot of things I hand wash or like spot clean. For clothing items, when you do wash them in the washer, you should get a mesh bag. Like they sell like mesh laundry bags or like lingerie bags that you can use, and those work really good because in the washer your pieces get whipped around and it will stretch your stitches out, which will make your clothing items bigger and make your stitches look loose, and it can just ruin hours of work. When you make things that have like strings, like summer tops, always tie your strings when washing your pieces because they can get tangled. I remember when I first started, I washed about 10 tops together and all of the strings got tangled, and it was literally a nightmare. When putting pieces in a mesh bag to wash them, I'll always, I usually fold them and put them in like the corner of the bag, and then I will stretch the bag out and knot it so the pieces are like tight in the bag so they don't have room to move around, and this will prevent your stitches from being stretched out. For drying most pieces, you can machine dry some stuff, but I usually air dry items. With things like acrylic yarn, if you don't mind your like clothing items getting looser, you can dry them and it will make your yarn really soft. But if you have like tops that like are cleavage tops, sometimes they can get soft and not like push you up the way that you want. So for tops like that, you should air dry them so they still give you the same like wear that you want. For items like plushies, I believe that you can put them in the dryer. some polyfill like bunches up weird and it can kind of like ruin the stuffing on the inside. So I would air dry my plushies, but I know people that just throw them in the dryer, so I guess it's like you have to figure out how your polyfill works or your stuffing works and see if it works in the dryer. Maybe you could like crochet a small plushie and test it out. I'm not sure, but I would let mine air dry. Items like my like clown hats that I make, or I make like little squishy toys, I recommend spot cleaning those. um just washing them just seems kind of extra if you can just spot clean them. Plus certain items, like when you wash them, the yarn can like soften and it can like lose its shape. Like for my clown hats, if you washed and then dried them, the yarn would just go flat, or like the clown collars, the yarn would go flat and it would just kind of like ruin the whole piece. Or like if you have like ruffles on a top or a skirt or something that you make, the ruffles will fall flat. They won't like hold their shape properly and it will just ruin your whole crochet piece if you wash and dry them the wrong way.